It is now time to check on weather with Market Journal Chief Meteorologist Eric Hunt. Eric, we had some pretty mild temperatures this week, some storm systems as well making their way across the state. How are things shaping up as we turn to the forecast ahead?
Thanks, Bryce. I see some chances of rain in the crystal ball for at least most of us here the next week or so. This week will be dominated by ridging across a lot of the central United States, with the center of the ridge axis down toward our south in Texas. There will be some short waves moving through the region, though, especially the first part of the week. Sunday night and Monday morning, though, we actually are seeing a decent chance of precipitation across western and central Nebraska, with some chance for some areas around McCook, for example, to receive between a half an inch to an inch of rain. Tuesday night into Wednesday, also going to see chances of showers and thunderstorms across portions of eastern and parts of central Nebraska. And the European model also indicates at least some chance for a half inch to an inch of rain during this time period. The WPC is not particularly bullish on significant precipitation across the state, but again, this could be a little bit underestimated, particularly if the convection is a little bit more potent than what is currently forecast. But at least everybody does have a chance of getting almost some rainfall this next week. Temperatures for the next week, generally warmer as we go toward the western portion of the state. Temperatures will likely be a little bit below average across the eastern third of Nebraska at the beginning of the week, warming up as we head toward Friday and Saturday. Temperatures likely be back well in the 80s and probably back into the low 90s, with higher humidity levels also creeping back into the state by the end of the week. And as we head the week after next, looks like that ridge will be building toward the north and northeast. That will favor dry conditions across most of our region. And it's also going to favor relatively warm conditions as we head toward the end of the month as well. And again, the European model right now is showing a pretty good chance of temperatures in the 90s as we head toward the middle of the week after next. So again, definitely some warmer weather on the way as we head to the end of this next week and the week after. That's not necessarily bad news, though, as we are running a little bit behind on heat units across portions of the state, particularly here across portions of central and northern Nebraska. So again, we could actually use a little bit of heat here to finish off this crop. Some of that's because the August 7th or 13th timeframe was record cool across some of the climate divisions of the state, and very cool across a lot of the central U.S. in general. Quite the change from what we had the last part of July, first part of August. Cool weather is good news, though. We have definitely seen more drought expansion across the state, more southeastern Nebraska and up into parts of northeast and north central Nebraska as well. Lots of 1 and 2 category degradations across the state here in the last month or so with the drier conditions. The standardized precipitation index also shows basically the Highway 136 corridor, Holt, Knox, and Antelope counties, and out in the Panhandle as being kind of the areas of concern here for really dry conditions the last 60 days. Definitely some improvement here with recent precipitation across portions of southwestern Nebraska and the southern Panhandle. A lot of what you're seeing here over around between St. Paul and Columbus, though, is back in June. And quick dry, which I like showing because it's basically kind of looks at short-term drought indicators, showing very stressed conditions across portions of Holt and Antelope and Knox counties, where we did see some degradation of the drought monitor again this week. Soil moisture percentiles generally below the 50th percentile across most of the state. Below the 30th percentile across most of the state, with some pretty dry soils here across a lot of central Nebraska and across the southern border with Kansas. Some improvements across western Nebraska and some pretty wet soils in Sarpy County, where they've had a lot of rain this week. But a good portion of the state has really dropped off significantly in the last month or so, with a lot of 50 percentile drops. Soil temperatures right now mostly are in these mid-60s to low 70s. And it's our temperature precipitation round. Finally, a week with no one hitting 100 and everybody getting some rain. Thanks, and back to you, Bryce.